Hey, everybody. Hey, Jordan and Scott.
What is
Hello,
up?
hello, everyone. It's
Hello.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. And that only could mean one thing, right? One Page Wednesday. And welcome to One Page Wednesday. I am Paige Iannarino, joined by Jordan and Scott. And I kind of want to say we have a special edition today.
Oh yeah, super
We
special
definitely
guest.
do. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should we bring her
Special
out?
guest. We are breaking new ground on One Page Wednesday.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Drum roll, please.
Right. And we've got Gil Andrews here, or Jill. Oh gosh, Jill Andrews. What is going on?
Hi
What's
everyone,
going
I'm
on?
glad to be here.
Jill is a copywriter. She's a web designer. She is an all-around expert. She wrote the book "Making Your Website Work" that everyone should go check out. Yeah, Jill, welcome. How's it going?
Hi, thank you very much. Going fine. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here and to talk about pages, web pages. Once again, my favorite topic.
Yes.
Jill,
Awesome.
your book, Making Websites Work. I read it. We all read it, and it's like this is perfect for a One Page Wednesday. We wanted to ask you before we get started and dive into this page, like top website tips, common mistakes that you're seeing. Like if I'm a beginner and I just started my Sam Card page, I want to sell my digital product. What are some things that I need to look out for? What are kind of your top early tips?
Okay, so where should I start? How much time do we have?
Yeah.
Let's start with the 5 most basic things you have to get right. Because if I start talking about super specific things like fonts and images and blah, 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 if you don't have your foundation right and you start painting your house, it doesn't make any sense. So let's talk about super fundamental things that you absolutely must get right. Guys, girls, and everyone in between. So tip number 1, the content of your page should not be what you want to say, which is like seriously strange. Why not? I mean, I'm the author. Shouldn't I write on my page whatever I want to say? No, you need to have things on the page that your audience needs to hear in order to give them your money, right? So it's not like what you want to say, it's what they need to hear to convert. And how do we do that? I mean, that's a very nice thing to say, but how do we do that? And the key word is defining your target audience, a term I seriously hate because it means totally different thing to everybody and it feels overwhelming. But it's actually not overwhelming. What I'm trying to say is you need to understand whom you are selling to. And I can give you a very quick tip that I hope you remember that you can take as a guide with you. When I say define your target audience, I don't mean imagine a person, pick up a photo from the internet, give them a name, an age, area where they live in, books they read, and write a detailed, autobiography or a biography of theirs and call it defining your target audience. That's not what it is at all. What you need to do is to collect characteristics of this group of people, maybe several subgroups of people that are important for making a buying decision. Age may be not important at all for making buy decision. Who knows, right? Or their interest may again not be important for making buying decision. But what's important? 4 things, or actually, sorry, 5 things. First of all, general profile. Indeed, this age, personality traits, like a person. When you're mentioning a person who's representative of a group, this is one thing, but it's only one thing, and it's the start. And other 4 things are, I call it the abbreviation PACO. I like to think of it as a Paco Rabanne. Maybe you heard of this guy as a Spanish designer. You can remember it like this. And this PACO stands for problems. What problems do your prospects have that you solve? It belongs to the identifying your target audience. A stands for awareness stage, or just awareness. We can forget the stage. What do they know about their problems? Maybe they don't realize they have a problem. What do they know about your solution? Are they already looking for a solution like yours? Or have you just invented robot vacuum and they have never heard of that and they are not even looking for it? So this was the A, awareness stage. Then C stands for criteria they have for hiring you or making a buying decision. It can be budget, it can be time they need to invest if we're talking about a course, literally anything that influences their decision when they're thinking about whether to buy this thing you're selling or not. And the last but not least, super important, is objections. What objections may they have? They may say, I don't know how this works if we're talking about a course. I don't know how much time do I need to invest? I don't know if it's online. What if this thing happens, for example? What if I don't like it? Will I be able to do things XYZ? So it really it's specific to your offer. So once again, general audience profile like age, personality traits, and what you usually imagine under defining your target audience, plus Paco Rabanne, right? Problems, awareness, criteria for decision making, and objections. You must do this, nail this, put it on paper before you write a single line, right? You were asking about basic tips, quick tips, but whatever you do, if you haven't done this, you can forget it. It will not work. You may think, oh, I have it in my brain. I can tell you that if we take all my clients I've ever worked with, and I start before I write copy, before I even review a website, I give them a questionnaire where we go through all these questions. And these questions are quite detailed depending on the project. From all the clients, I can tell you that 95% did not know, whom they're selling in such great detail. I had to ask like follow-up questions. They were partially vague. They were like, man, let us think about it for 2 weeks, right? Stuff like that. So I can guarantee you, even if you feel like you have it in your brain, let me tell you, you don't. So your first task before you start writing a page, go do this. Go do general audience profile plus Paco Rabanne, okay? And only then you're allowed to start writing anything. So this was the tip number 1. Tip number 2 would be having a strategic approach to structure. You may read some blog posts and they will tell you, yeah, your sales page needs to have this section and this section and this section and this section. And you're like, oh, great. So you just like fill the sections on the page and call it a day. The thing is that to convert a prospect, for them to give you their money, you need to meet them at point A they're currently at, with all their awareness, whatever they have, their awareness, all their doubts, all their uncertainties, all their questions. You meet them there, you take them by the hand, and you show them the road to the point B, changing their mindset step by step to where they need to be to convert. Imagine, this is like abstract concept. Imagine, what does that mean practically speaking? Imagine they land on your page and you tell them, okay, this is a course for XYZ, buy now. And you have a call to action. And they're like, why? You didn't tell me anything. Why do I need a call to action right there? Or for example, you say something and then you give a testimonial immediately. Like you said, okay, this is the course, blah, 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 and then a testimonial. And they're like, wait, you didn't even tell me when does it take place? What does this include? Why do I need to see this testimonial? And because it doesn't match their logical changes in the mindset, this gradual change in the mindset, they're getting thrown off. They're like, man, I don't want to know this now. I will need to know something else. And there are certain stages to it. For example, they start with, what is it? Right? Then tell me who are we talking about? If there is a coach, for example, if we are talking about coaching services, you need to introduce yourself, because then you start talking about yourself, maybe mentioning your name, but you never introduce yourself. It's again a mismatch in strategy. So you need to sit down and think, okay, so my prospect, they come with this mindset. You did your homework. It comes from that homework. So what do they need to know now? Really like SAP, what do they need to know? Okay, this thing. Once I told them this thing, what do they need to know next? And this is how you lay out the outline of your page strategically. And then you decide where you put CTAs. Then you're like, okay, so these 3-4 sections, did I give them enough information to make an ask? Because very often you don't. You just like, okay, let's just put CTA if you can measure a page, like every 2 meters, we put a CTA just in case, because maybe they would like to, do some
more buttons.
Just let's put it
more
there.
Sales, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we need more CTAs. The page not converting. Let's put more CTAs. The thing is, and I experience it like every time I break something on my website, people who are convinced by your copy, they will find a way to contact you. If you have at least one functional contact button CTA on your website. Several times people wrote to me saying, by the way, your form is broken. Oh, your CTA buttons don't work in Mozilla, but I'm interested in your services. So that's not a problem. Too few CTAs are usually not a problem. but CTAs at the right places. Yeah, because especially when you like feel okay, you read your page again, you thought about it, and you're like, man, this is very compelling point I just made. I think I have given them the minimum amount of information to justify a CTA. And after this first minimum, I call it minimum viable conversation, CTA, and then every time then lower, then you already know, okay, probably they already know enough. When can I put the next CTA? Okay, but this is a different story. That's already too much detail, right? So coming back to the point number 2, tip number 2, lay out the order of your sections strategically, right? Think about it, not just like spill them on the page. Tip number 3, write for skimmers. I highly recommend you. I don't know if it's possible for the pages that are created with SAMcard, but if it's on your website or if it's possible, record heat maps for your pages and sessions. Heat maps show you how much the people scroll, and they like, this is like a gradient color from red, it's like rainbow from red to blue, and then you see how fast the people bounce. And you'll notice how many people don't read stuff that you put there. And when you watch session replays, you will feel compelled to scream, "Are you drunk? What the hell are you doing?" You will see people scrolling past with the velocity of a BMW going on the Autobahn, a German highway. And you're like, wow, stop, no, please. It's like sometimes I watch session replays and I see like a session, you can see how many minutes a session was. So you can select the one you think, okay, oh, that's a good section, 10 minutes. You go there, person opens a page, does nothing for 9 minutes, 30 seconds, scrolls a bit, does nothing again, and then leaves. Or just starts going with the mouse on a one particular screen, like just going to the mouse like this, underlining some words, and then bounces. And you're like, what is going on? I don't understand this. But what you understand, what you learn from that is that you must write for skimmers, meaning people need to be able to go through the page normally scrolling without stopping and realizing what kind of information to expect from every section. Meaning you need to have very clear and compelling subheads. So because people come to your page, and if you were successful in piquing the interest with your banner, with your tagline, they're like, well, this is something I may be interested in. So I already have questions automatically. If it's like a course I'm interested in, improving a skill I have been looking to improve, I'm like, yeah, tell me more. But then I start scrolling and they're like, okay, I want to know when it takes place. Maybe I want to know a price tag immediately, right? So it all needs to be nicely skimmable sections subhead, short paragraphs, maybe some color somewhere, some images, so it's not visually monotonous. Because interestingly, you may think, okay, what kills attention of people so much? Actually, visual monotony. Sure, non-clear copy, vague copy, it's thing number 1, but second is visual monotony. If you have this big wall of text, they look at it and go like, man, this is just too much work to read. And you will see this once you record session replays. The moment you put and they need to scroll and scroll, and there's no header, no image, they're like, okay, I'm done with this. Unfortunately, this is how people behave, right? Sure, they may read a really thick book because it's like fun, entertaining, whatever. If it was entertaining, if you were a comedian and you were writing like super funny stuff, they will read it. The thing is, this is not what you're writing. You want their money. And for this, they want you to work hard first and to make it easy for them to read, right? So that was tip number 3. Tip number 4 actually is about using images. What I see so often, which hurts me so bad, is that images are used to beautify a page. Why is this wrong? Shouldn't images be used to beautify the page? I mean, beautiful images. Let's, make the page prettier. No. Every time you use a visual, regardless of whether it's a photo, an image of a tree, or an icon, you need to think about, how does it make my message stronger? Or how does it help? Why am I doing this? Because if you don't have an answer to this question, except I think it looks cute, this is wrong. Because image can pull their attention in the wrong direction. An image can be misinterpreted. An image makes a page longer, means more people will bounce earlier than you want them to bounce. So every time you have a visual element, it needs to have a purpose. A very good test about whether this image works on a page, or if you have several images, and just think about, if you switched those images places, will anything change? And if your images are interchangeable, it means they have 0 value. So you either need to kill them with fire, or just to use different images to make your message stronger. Something that, you know, often there's like, this is a very typical layout, image and text on the side. An image needs to match the text somehow. You know, an image needs to indicate what's in the text, for example, or illustrate something better than words can do. This is, for example, for software. Yeah, when we're talking about software, screenshots really help. But just again, just to reiterate, every time you're putting an image, an icon, a photo on your page, think about why and how does it make your message stronger. It should, because it should make your message stronger. And tip number 5, this is about the design. And even if you use templates, even when you use some drag and drop, you know, page builder, you need to understand the basics of non-messy design. I'm not saying your page needs to be beautiful. Interestingly, science tells us about how our brains work. Science tells us that simple pages, they convert better because they're easy on the brain. With all this pretty stuff and animation and colors, blah blah blah. Sure, if you are some creative design energy and agency and you're showcasing your design abilities, maybe this will work. But when we're talking about, let's say, online courses, online books, something that simple, that is simple design is better, right? But you can mess up a lot of things there, even if you drag and dropping stuff. So what do you need to pay attention to when it comes to design? First of all, super important, use the same font, color, family, and size for the same elements. Meaning, if you have H1 element, this, you know, the biggest section heading there is, it should always have the same font, family, and color. H2, same thing. Base body text, same thing. It's very common. I see that body text, let's say you use 14 pixels open sans, and then suddenly it goes to 12 pixels grayish Times New Roman. Why? The thing is, when people start browsing through your page, you're teaching them. You're like, okay, remember the blue font that looks like that, that's a section subhead. Something pink, this is a CTA. Well, once you start using different colors for CTAs, let's say sometimes pink, sometimes blue, sometimes green, people like need to stop every time to first even process to realize what the hell is this. What you need, what actually is like a seamless experience. You want a seamless experience where you would like them to read smoothly and easily. And then you need them to stop on the points where you need them to stop, not just because you suddenly use a different color. So this is super important. Another thing is equal space between elements. There's very common, I see cluttered pages, but then pages that use this much white space and then not at all. And then again, medium amount of space. So for example, for body text, the lines need to have the same distance between themselves everywhere. When you have section and you have a background color, you have like a border, right? The border that you have between the colorful section and non-colorful section, the distance that this end of one section and beginning of the second section has to this borderline, again, needs to be the same. Why? Our brains crave balance. Why do they crave balance? Because nature is balanced. And we've been living on this planet for quite some time. So our brains are trained to crave balance. And the moment you start using things that are unbalanced, you're just disturbing the brain, which is not a bad thing. If you want to disturb the brain and say, hey, look here, something interesting is happening, I need your attention, that's fine. But when it's happening all the time, every 100 pixels, something is off, something is not balanced, it's extremely irritating. Even if you ask your prospects and say, you know, can you pinpoint it? Can you put your finger on it and say, what's wrong? They won't be able to tell you, but they will feel disturbed inside. And like, man, I can't read it. It feels difficult to read. It feels annoying. They're just annoyed inside, to be honest. What else can we, you know, do we need to keep in mind regarding the design? Balanced alignment. For example, when you have a page and all your text is aligned on the left, it should be aligned on the left in the same way. For example, not like you have one section that is like this and then suddenly your text starts like this, and then you have centered text. Do not use centered text for really long paragraphs, because again, the brain gets disturbed. It doesn't know when the line starts. So bottom line, what I'm saying, I mean, there are a lot of things that I can keep mentioning, but we will run out of time. Maybe it's a good idea to just Google, what does balanced design mean? and just look at those points. What does balance in design mean, or what constitutes balanced design? And just keep those points in mind when you are designing a page. And last but not least, very fast, especially if your product has a high price tag, please get it proofread. Because we all think, okay, our English is great. I mean, we had an A at school, high school, grad school, but no. Once you give your page to a proofreader, you will see how many things he or she will find out. And studies show that typos, grammar mistakes, they influence trust. And you don't want people to not trust you. You have a lot of other things to keep in mind. This is such a minor thing to fix, so let somebody else who is a professional proofread your page. Just very quickly, I will just repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we can maybe go to the page. So just to repeat all these tips. Tip number 1: say what your prospects need to hear, not what you want to say, and for that, define your target audience. Number 2: use a strategic approach to the structure order of your page. Number 3: write for skimmers so they can quickly realize where to find what information. Number 4: use an image, photo, or a visual element only to strengthen your message. You always need to have a reason for using something on your page. Number 5: make sure your design doesn't look messy, looks balanced. For that, Google. And number 6: get your page proofread.
Amazing.
End of story.
Jill, that was incredible. No notes,
Shut
no
it,
nothing.
shut it down.
At some point, I thought you
End of
guys
stream,
froze.
we
I
are
was like,
all
okay,
set.
they're not saying anything. Maybe they just froze. I don't know. I was just
Amazing.
talking and talking. And
That was
talking.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Jill, thank you so much for sharing and going to such depth. That was awesome. I mean, all 5 of those were really great. And in between 5, there are so many different points, I think, where we could stop and talk for an hour about different things. But yeah, if you guys have any specific questions, of which there were definitely plenty.
Oh yeah, I
I
see already an awesome question about the length of the page and designers asking copywriters to write shorter pages. Later, I would like to talk about this one.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh no, but we have to review the page. Would you like me to answer it right away?
Oh, we answer a few questions, and then Paige has a page that we'd love to break down and get your kind of opinion on. But I think after the incredible depth that you just provided, let's dive into a few of these quick questions and knock these out. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I work with designers a lot, and recently, SEMrush, I wrote their homepage and several landing pages, and I worked with their designers a lot, and we bumped heads initially about the length of the page. So the thing is the following: a copyright, you cannot let designer push you around and tell you how long the page should be, but you should listen to their opinions, of course, and you need to find a compromise. But you know what? I have a really awesome blog post, I tell you, because it lists the reasons exactly why short pages convert better. They indeed convert better, but not because of their length. They convert better because they target warmer audience. If you have somebody who is already ready to buy, they do not need a lot of copy. That's why your page is short. But you get more conversions, not because the page is short, but because they're ready to buy. Do you understand? It's like, how do you call it? Correlation, not causation.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely.
Not because we eat a lot of ice cream in summer, and then that's why it's warm, right? It's like, no. It just happens.
I love that.
Or whatever. I can give you a link later, maybe.
I was going to say, we talk about very similar things a lot internally when we're, a lot of people ask us questions. Hey, how long should a page be to sell a $100 product or a $500 product or those kind? How long should videos be?
This is the wrong question.
Exactly.
Wrong question.
Right. Yeah.
You should not answer not as many words as it needs to convert a prospect, but not a word more.
I love that. Yeah, that's such a great, succinct way to put that. Right? You should write.
Just let me quickly. I just look up this post because this is I had to write it because so many people were asking me about this, and I'm like, people, seriously, stop asking. This is not what this is about. It's the post called "The Real Reason Why Short Copy Converts Better." So how do I send you a link now?
If you want to put it, there's a private chat here in Restream.
Okay, I will put it in a private chat.
Into the comments.
And you can maybe somehow kind of
awesome
distribute it to the masses.
Jordan, you go ahead, post that one out there. So we're going to share a post from Jill over on her site, why short copy converts better than long copy. And love for you guys to go check that out. I think that's an awesome topic to go check out. We just posted it in the chat down below.
Perfect. Awesome.
That is great.
Jill, someone was asking
Jill, I got
about
another
your
one
book.
that came in. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, no, I was just saying, if people are asking about the book, where can they get the book? They can go to jillandrews.com/book.
Somebody's asking about discount. There are no discounts. Discount. It's already pretty cheap, people. Seriously, come on.
I think he
You
was
know, if you
asking with,
sell, you
with the
sell
wink
just one
face there.
product of yours, you already made the money back.
Exactly.
If it
Yeah,
was
I love that.
500 bucks, I would give you a discount. But you know, Amazon also takes a lot of money from me. It's not like I get all this money you pay me.
I love that.
But I
yeah.
think on AppSumo, I get just $4 from it. If you already registered on AppSumo, I just get $4 back from that price. So just go register with AppSumo. It's for free, and then you get it for like, I don't know, $6 something.
So maybe everybody should go buy the book and send a tip. Maybe it's what we'll have it ready to go and do. But that's
yeah, please send me your money. Seriously.
Right, exactly. Here's a great question from Norman asked, can Jill recommend web pages that she thinks are put together well and demonstrate what you're talking about? I'm guessing probably SEMrush, right?
My own?
SEMrush,
No, SEMrush I won't recommend. Why? Because you guys are not a big company selling software in super competitive niche. That's a very different story.
Yep.
Very, very different story. You should only compare or look for inspiration on websites that compare to you somehow in size and in kinds of products they sell. So just like represents a polished version of you. You can't just go and, you know, look at the Amazon page. Do you really want a page like that? That's crazy. It won't work for any company that is unknown company. It only works for Amazon because they have so many repeating visitors, but actually their page is crazy cluttered. Yes, I have. You can again Google. I can give links. I don't know what is more better to you.
I think if any of them just pop off the top of your head, I think we'll just mention them. And
the thing is, it's super hard to give pages that I do not know how to perform, because I have people come to me and say, we want a page. I mean, this is our page, and I'm like, man, this looks great, more or less. There's not many problems. Yeah, but it doesn't work. But I'm like, okay, let's dig into it. Let's look at session replays. Let's look at bounce rates. Let's look at your audience. Let's look at traffic sources, because one of the reasons pages do not convert, because you attract people that you let vegetarians judge your steakhouse. Basically, you're just getting wrong audience. I mean, it's maybe a great page, wrong audience. So it's super hard to say what pages work. So pages I can recommend is pages I wrote for small businesses, and also for my clients, and those clients gave me testimonials saying, my conversion rate went up. I have better conversations. Those pages I can recommend to you, but not something like, oh, look at this big company page and do exactly what they do. Because
Jill,
I just don't know.
We've got some fans in the chat, the fangirling over Jill. This book, get this book, fave copywriter. Look at that, awesome.
Who is this? Oh, Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Yeah, I know Elaine. We know each other. Thank you very much to everyone. I mean, I can't look, I need to look at the camera. I need to look to see if my hair still is okay. And I can't just read your messages. Oh, Elaine, right. We worked with Elaine together. I actually recommend Elaine on my side as well to clients who want like super simple pages and they can would like to manage their websites themselves and not deal with WordPress and complicated providers. Elaine does a great job. So
awesome.
Right back at you, Elaine.
There you go. One last question. What, you talked about heat mapping software, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You did mention, for anybody who's watching, we had a couple people asked in the question box, but yes, you can definitely use pretty much any heat mapping software with the pages that you guys create on Samcart. Jill, do you recommend a heat mapping software? Is there one that you really like to?
Yeah, I really like Hotjar. But they kind of cut their free plan a bit. I think it became like less. Mm-hmm. But I had to walk around because I'm a former software engineer. I just kind of did some coding in the background. This was possible to just select the pages that I wanted Hotjar to record. But just to start, for you to know, maybe it will be worth the money for you, But they have a good semi good free plan. It's not even a trial. I mean, you can just have it on your website, and it will record your heat map, so you can just get accustomed to it. You have exactly, it will look like that. 3 heat maps for 3 different pages you can record, but the sessions it records randomly, so you can't control anything. But still, you get an idea, right? And especially it's good if you have just one page, then you don't have anything to lose. I'm just talking about when you have a website with multiple pages. It's a bit complicated with the free plan of theirs, but if you have just one page, it's awesome. It's like, wow. Hotjar, I really like because they're very intuitive to use. I tried different kinds of software, especially after they cut this free plan. It was such a nightmare. I won't say other names, but I just came back to Hotjar, just tweaked it a bit in the background, and I'm still working with that, and I recommend all my clients to use Hotjar.
That's great. Yeah, one we've also used personally. I can recommend Hotjar as well as a great one. We put that down in the chat box. And yeah, that's awesome. Paige,
Can
what do
you
think?
write it, please, somebody? Ah, okay, you already guys wrote it, right?
Yeah. Paige,
Paige,
what do you think? You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm just still in awe of all of that knowledge that you just spilled. Like, that was amazing. And I'm really proud to say that a lot of that stuff is what we, try and preach as well here about people telling their story, right? And injecting
Definitely.
their uniqueness and having a specific topic that is unique and current. So I'm just really glad that we do touch on a lot of that here at Samcart. And thank you so much for spilling that wealth of knowledge with us.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you. All right.
I love listening to myself talk. So if anyone there with podcast. Oh, and I love telling people what they do wrong. So that's like a best combination for podcast.
We're here.
I can do it like all day long.
Love it. Love it.
Well, I hope you're ready to help this Samcart seller, to let them know what they're doing right and give us some feedback and critique, that can help their page be better.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and dive right on into it. So this is a page that we have submitted from a Samcart seller here. Her name is Nikki, and I just wanted to shout out to Nikki because she's been following along with us in our course creation challenge. I believe she's done it 2 or 3 times now. So that's really great. And this is her sales page that is showcasing her product, which is a course. So how I would like to do things here on One Page Wednesday is just start by breaking apart, the page piece by piece. So, Jill, I want to ask you, at a first glance, what your thoughts are on this page.
Okay. Before we dive in, I really would like to say something that I think is super important. Nikki, if you're listening, and I hope you will be listening, so your page, you are very brave because I wouldn't be doing this. Just, putting the page out there and having somebody with a loud mouth like myself critique it in front of everybody, that takes a lot of courage. And whatever you're going to hear right now has nothing to do with you as a person or a professional. It only has to do something to do with your website, which is not ideal. Sorry, page, not ideal, which is absolutely understandable. It's not your job. You're not a copywriter. You're not a designer. That's totally fine to make mistakes, right? But it has nothing to do with you as a person and nothing to do with you as a professional. So I really ask you not to take things personally because I'm pretty straightforward. I think it works best if you just know what you're doing wrong and how to fix it, no matter how painful it is to hear it. I think it's still more useful than just going around and pretending everything is fine. So maybe change this, change that. I feel good about myself, but you still have a page that does not work. So this is not my style. But okay, after having said that, let's look at the banner again. This is above the fold, meaning your prospects land on the page and this is what they see. I already have stuff for 15 minutes to talk about this banner. Above the fold space is super important. Studies again show that most of the time spent on the page is spent on the above the fold space, right? So you really need to nail it. You need to capture people's attention, indicate relevancy and value for them to just pull them into the page so they keep reading. Are we doing it here properly? I think we're wasting a lot of. Let's talk about the design first of all. We are wasting a lot of space. You see how much space there is between the banner itself at the beginning of the page, and there is an email there. Why do you have an email there? You already have CTAs. You need, they need to pay you money. You want their money. If you want to tell them, have a question, send me an email. Do it later on the page. So you're again wasting a bit of space. Left, right, we're again wasting a lot of space. You do not need on desktop to have these huge margins. And why is it bad? You're making your page longer. And we know the longer the page, the fewer people get to the end. So you need to make everything to make your page shorter visually without compromising the clarity of design. But make sure to utilize white space properly. One thing. Second thing, so many colors are here. So a bit of pinkish, a bit of blue. The font that says the creative blueprint is a bit hard to read. I wouldn't use it, especially in above the fold space that is so important. I would use super clear fonts. And then the last thing about design is that you put a lot of things in capital letters, which may not be a problem for 3 words, but we will be going down the page. We will see you put a lot of longer lines in capital letters. Why is it bad? the space between the letters that are capital is relatively smaller, becomes relatively smaller, and it's hard for the brain to realize where a word ends and another word starts. So you're again adding friction, making page harder to read and process for absolutely no reason. So this is about the design. Regarding the copy, usually I ask people about their target audience. So whatever I'm saying right now, it's for me a bit hard to say if it's like really justified or not. But for example, I as a person, I would not understand what session work means. And I guess you're going for the pun here after I read it, nailing session work, the creative blueprint. It's not clear for 100% of people out there that it's about doing nails, on fashion shows, as far as I could understand what was like down on the page. You're trying to be clever, creative, but you're sacrificing clarity. And then you say the creative blueprint. You don't say it's a course. I understood it was a course, right? But the blueprint could be also a paper, a PDF. So you absolutely must nail. Sorry, I shouldn't say nail properly when I talk about this page. You should absolutely make it clear what it is, what benefit it gives you. Because what does it mean, nailing session work? What does nailing something means? It means like a gazillion different things to different people. You need to be super specific. Learn, think XYZ, or how to do thing XYZ that you really want to do, right? And then you say a course for people like that, because who is this course for? I still didn't understand. Is it for beginners completely? Is it for intermediate people? It's probably not. Is it already for professionals who have been doing nail work in salons and now would like to break into fashion industry? I seriously didn't get it, and I read a whole page. So you need to make it super clear right there, right now. Right now it's not happening. Then just another thing to say here, because that's the only thing we see, is the CTA. I already mentioned it. Why are you asking them to enroll? You didn't tell them anything. I know that you may be thinking, oh, this is like how many pages are there in in the wildness of a web space. But that's a bad example to follow. Just ask yourself, did you give them enough information to enroll? I don't think so. So this CTA has to go. You again, like when I was saying the strategic alignment of sections, this is the example of not doing it right, because you don't need a CTA when you didn't tell them anything. So this would be all I had to say about this part of the page. So we can just scroll down.
Awesome. I do want to mention one thing regarding the email at the very top of the page. So here at Samcart, we have that as an area that's designated for our sellers to have as like a support contact for their customers. Now, I can help Nikki remove that. I see that she is in the chat and she's joining us and not sure how to remove it. So Nikki, I got you. I'll help you. But Jill, I just wanted to mention that we just have that here for our sellers to have a designated support contact for their customers.
Yeah, but the most typical place for it where people look for it is footer of the page. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is literally the most typical page, because again, strategic alignment. You're asking them to contact you. You didn't tell them anything. And usually people know what footers are for. They expect the contact information and some links to the main, if it was a website. So I would put it there. I don't understand, why does it need to be on the top of the page? But okay, this is just my opinion, like somebody coming from website space as well. But again, even if it was a lead generation page, we would be running with Google AdWords. We will not be doing this. Or if you really would like to keep it there, just put it in context. Just write, have questions, contact me at, or drop me a line at. Because an email is just sitting there with no context, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's when you have so little information, it has to have some kind of context.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that's another thing where you could easily switch templates. You could easily check out, Jill even mentioned that, depending on what percentage is mobile or things like that, and how big the screen is, getting rid of some of the side margins, you guys could switch to some of the full width templates, different templates, move that thing around and kind of put in different spots. So definitely would recommend people experimenting and checking stuff out based on what Jill's recommendations are. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, if you have some kind of a template-based thing where you're building pages, it has limitations, right? So I'm just saying things that it should be doable in an ideal world. I understand that, every template software has limitations, but it also has a lot of positive things that people do not need to learn coding, for example. So just take what I'm saying and just make the best of it. You don't have to do it like exactly like I say. Just think about what would make sense in your context and what is doable.
Perfect. All right, let's move below the fold. Here we go.
Can you move a bit? Yeah, a bit down. Yeah. So we see that, that we already have a lot of text that is congested. So again, regarding the design, I already talked about this. Many words in caps does not work at all. Here, it's like very congested. Very hard to understand, where the word starts and ends. Then you have the images that are not saying anything. We have a person sitting in a chair, another person, we're not seeing a face, doing nails. It's very busy, a lot of very little details. And the second image is completely detached from anything. It could be even like filming set. What does it have to do with your course, A, and B, with what you're saying right now? So I wouldn't even put images there, to be honest, right now. Just, they just want to know what the hell is that. Just let them read in peace. Right now, you haven't bored them yet. They just came here. So just first thing you need to be concerned about is relevancy. So they understand it's for me. It's something, solves a problem that I would like to solve. And it's for people like me. We need to accomplish this goal right here on the page. And we unfortunately are not doing it. I can't read it. Just let me just open the page in my, so I just can talk about the copy. Here, when you say, have you always wondered what it takes to get involved in session work? I have a problem with this heading because it sounds like something that would go in a blog post, not something that you tell people where you're struggling to keep their attention and indicate relevancy. What does it mean, what it takes to get involved in session work? So what do you need to do to start doing session work, right? Okay, they wondered about it. So it's like, yeah, so, you don't want the so part. Even if you have a question, you need to make sure that, first of all, they answer yes. Here, I really can't say if they would answer yes because I don't know your audience. Is it exactly their burning problem? Here, I would rather start with a burning problem. Right. Okay, Nikki, I understand that it's industry specific, but they don't say anything, right? You can have industry specific images, but they need to be, first of all, less busy. Second of all, very clear, because the second image, it can mean literally anything. It can be a film set, but it also does not connect. Yeah, that's you in the photo, but we don't know. We just see your back end. Who knows that's you in the photo? Your prospects don't know that. You need to make sure that image complements the text. If it's not super clear, if there's no text in the image, if it's not a image of a daisy where everybody knows that's a daisy, nobody knows that's a Nikki, that's Nikki, and that this is the person who will be teaching me stuff. Nobody knows that. So what was I talking about? I was talking about the copy. So asking questions in your copy. First of all, you need to make sure they say yes. Second of all, you need to make sure it's not followed by so. You need to make sure it's followed by Nikki, I see your comments, but if you need to explain an image, it's already, sorry to tell you, an image that is not working well for you. You shouldn't have to explain images, especially people do not have you sitting, standing there behind. Oh yeah, by the way, this image means that. If a person does not understand it, and I'm not sure everybody will immediately understand what that is, then probably we need to look for another image or maybe to remove it. But let's I will stop reading the comments now. Sorry, and I will just concentrate on the copy. So yeah, I would rather prefer to see a heading that promised them something like, do you have this problem that keeps you awake at night, in that sense, right? Because one that feels like something pretty mild, I don't lose sleep because I wonder about stuff. Can we find a more burning problem? I do not know. I mean, for that, I would need to ask you a lot of questions about your audience. But it's. I would rather advise to start with a bang, to show them you understand their problems. Then we have a copy that's a bit wordy. I don't think it's a good idea that if I go just like word by word, because then we'll be sitting here for 2 more hours. But I just already see you have 2 paragraphs and they both start with this bespoke course. You also don't need to say bespoke, because a course, people kind of assume that you made it, and once they read about it, they already know, okay, that's something she created just for us. So you don't need to say things that don't add value. This is what I wanted to say about how to make your copy less wordy. Remove everything that doesn't add value. Period. Just ask everyone, literally every word you see in your copy, even if it's an article or a word like that, remove it. If it does not add value, remove it and see if a message changes. If your message did not change after you remove that word, it did not have to be there in the first place. So this is a good exercise. So here you try to explain to them, okay, we start by that, then we do this, and then we do that. It's a good idea. That's a good idea to give them an overview. What I'm not a fan of is the visual presentation of that. Could you have done it in bullet points? Could you done it with steps 1, 2, 3, 4? So remember I was saying write for skimmers. Skimmers would be like, I don't want to read this is too much work, and they miss a lot of value you're giving them, that you're telling them, okay, first of all, this is actually a valuable piece of information. But unfortunately, the way it's presented, I would guess that people will just scroll by and go to something that, is like more colorful to them. It's like something shorter and so on and so forth. So just to reiterate, change the font, not the font not to be caps on the subhead. Use a stronger benefit. Think about a usage of your images, maybe no images at all, or something that is super telling, super clear, and complements the message. And make your text less wordy. Try using bullet points and write for skimmers. So these would be my tips for this section.
Perfect. All right, now I think we're moving into the offer. This is kind of like she's breaking down what you'll learn, all like the course content here.
Yeah, here, I don't want to concentrate on every section. I just want to say, first of all, regarding the design, studies show, there's even an article. There's a super awesome website called Nielsen Norman Group at nngroup.com. They do a lot of usability studies, and they did a study on this kind of design. What they do, they track the eye movement of prospects. They just put people in front of their pages, have a camera in their face, and track the eye movement. People find this design, especially when you repeat the images are interchangeable. There is a problem again. They're partially something that you took yourself, partially coming from some glamour magazines, so they have a different style. They're also not saying much, about what is going on in the section. This design is visually monotonous. You will be like, why is it visually monotonous? I have nice colors, I have pictures, I have short text, but it's like a lot of chocolate is still visually monotonous. You have a lot of the same different things. So your things are different in the same way: image, font, text, and then you have a lot of these elements. This is visual monotony. So what you will learn, again, I would rather not put any images at all and think about how do you have modules in the course? This is another problem I have. I did not understand how the course works. Is it online? Do they need you to come? Do they need to come to you? This is a question. It's like, how is this happening? We do not know. If it was online, I would say module 1, module 2. Maybe it also works for offline. Like, I don't know, how do you call the online things? Like it's I would call session, but the thing is, you're using the word session in a very different context. You can't say session 1, session 2, session 3, because you're talking about sessions as that thing that you teach them to do. So I would say probably module 1, module 2, module 3, and then again learn this main benefit and then bullet points specifically. Maybe it makes sense. Right now I don't have it at the top of my mind, but to look at some pages that you think are polished and great and you look up to, and to see, okay, how are they designed? I wish I should have prepared links for you that I can just put the links out there, but right now I just don't have anything on the top of my mind just to show you how a skimmable, scannable, to the point, succinct page looks like. Unfortunately, it's not this. And we can just move to the section where there are no more these interchangeable sections, because the problems are always the same, right? Capital letters, we talked about it. You use different colors for the same element. I think it was H2 element. How to build your session workkit. You need to use the same color. And then image takes so much space. It takes so much space, as much space as the text, but delivers so little value, in my opinion. I understand that I don't come from the industry. I don't speak the language. I don't understand the problems yet. But even for me, as if I should be able to come to this page, look at it and say, yeah, I understand what it sells, but it's not for me. I still should be able to do that. even if this would be selling super complicated software that I would never in my life use, I would still need to be able to understand what is being sold to me and what are you talking about in every section, because you need to speak in clear words and you need to use clear visuals. And right now, I just don't understand it, to be honest.
Jill, the photos is a huge takeaway for me. Like I'm such a visual person that I would think adding images would make it so much more pleasing, and like it breaks up the
Yeah, but
text.
in a correct way, no?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
a way
like
that like complements the message and adds clarity and doesn't add confusion and doesn't it has a value. Look at those images. If you start interchanging them, nothing will change for the prospect. You will say,
yeah,
yeah, but this image does not go with the text. No, prospects will not see it like that. They don't have this depth and detail of thinking, oh, this person should have must have meant that. You know what you meant. Your prospects only see what you put out there. And right now, if you connect image and text, they don't care. If you put any images in any random order, attach any of the 5 images to any section, nothing will change for your prospects.
that's
Really, in the
I think that's such
understanding
a
of this
great,
page.
like it's such a great small case study in something you said earlier, Jill. We were talking about the idea of, a great web page is going to talk about not what you want to talk about. It's going to talk about what your audience wants to hear. It's what they need out of it's what they want to have solved, right? And having that fresh set of eyes and looking at your page as someone who doesn't have a level of understanding, the level of depth, the level of context that a creator does when they're going to make this, and thinking, okay, cool, maybe I need to put this page in front of someone who has no idea who I am, no idea anything, and in the way that we talk about using Hotjar to sort of watch how people are interacting with your page, we always talk about using beta testers or going out and finding other people and getting their honest feedback about your page, asking what questions, what didn't you understand, what did you understand, and in that way, sort of unveiling the things that we as the creators sort of forget about. You know what I mean? We forget that someone might not understand what that picture means. Someone might not know what that one word means, but being able to get back into the mind of someone who isn't you and isn't so close to what it is that you're creating.
Yes, well, I agree to 99% to this. The only thing is you shouldn't put in front of your screen anybody. Like, so you can put your grandma in front of your screen. No, you should put somebody from your target audience.
Right.
Somebody as close to your target audience as possible. Right? Because if
Totally
you are
agree.
targeting someone who already knows you, I had this case. For example, I'm developing a course and I'm targeting people who know me. And some people did know me in my test group. And they're like, yeah, you need to introduce yourself. And I'm like, no, I don't actually, because, the way I will be marketing it, people would know me for years then. But this is the thing, that it shows you that you may get feedback. There I was able to identify the feedback that I can just sort out and disregard. But if you just put anybody in front of the screen who does not know anything, they may give you feedback that is not relevant, because your target audience won't have that problem. So it's very
definitely
important.
Good call out. More along the lines of people in your target audience. 100%. That is a great note. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question, real quick, going back up to that first image of the woman in the chair, and then now we know that that is Nikki herself. Now, the woman in the chair is one of the most famous top models in the industry of
Seriously,
fashion.
Okay.
So I think that photo is really powerful because she's speaking to her targeted audience, and I think her credibility as a nail professional, and she is an expertise in her craft, like that's all into one, I think, in this image. So I want to advocate for her to keep this image on her sales page, because
yes, sure. I mean, now when but the thing is, you need to put a image caption on below. So this is me doing the nails of this particular person. So even if somebody does not understand or recognize, because it's pretty small, I might say, it's just a profile. It could be just somebody looking like this model. We can't even see her front face. Put image caption. Studies show people actually read captions of images. And the other thing is, I mean, we will be talking about it later. I would have suggested to introduce yourself much faster. Because when you put a caption saying, this is me doing nails of this XYZ person, they'll be like, wait, who are you? We haven't met you yet. So then you have another problem. But we will talk about it a bit later. But thank you for giving this context, right? Because I couldn't have known that. I mean, to me, she looks completely like a generic person. And also, it's not, I mean, for me, it's not visible that it's some kind of preparation for a walk or, the fashion show. It could be even just a salon. I mean, it's just so much detail in the background.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to keep on scrolling down to the next section. Do you want to add anything else regarding, you know, the other images that are on the page?
No. I mean, it's. I just say. I mean, I don't see any value in those images.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, there must be some value. I definitely. I'm sure there must be some value. Maybe there are nails that you did. Maybe there are models that you styled. Then add captions. And actually, I would put these images in the gallery as a social proof, because what if it's really the images? You know, sorry, somebody's just laughing at me there. Irina, we will talk to you later. So what was I saying? That, you know, the moment you use an image as social proof, maybe you then need to give it more space. Because right now, the way you're using images is like image here, image there, image here, image there, and they are kind of lumped together, and people may even just, you know, black them out. If you want people to take something from the images that it's not visible, and I mean, you just have picture of nails. How do you know you did? How do I know as a prospect you did the nails, and the nails belong to a super famous model, and this model worked on a super famous show, and then you won an award for those nails? I do not know that. Then give it a, you know, like display it proudly like your flag and say, look, this is the image and this is what's happening. Then you get the value from the image, not just like, you know, guess
she could put them together almost like a portfolio. Like,
yes,
this,
like a portfolio,
this is my body of
absolutely.
work. Look how credible
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
And you can have this credibility too. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Because, you know, I mean, right now, I mean, see what I understood from those images, right? Okay, become a founder member. My question is, it's such a bigger ask to just say enroll to the course, into the course, because I actually even looked up the definition of founder member, because it's like, maybe I don't understand it correctly. Actually, founder member is the first member in organization. They also have responsibilities and they may have some investment. So, you know, if you're like already a member and you're a founder member and you're thinking, man, the founders of the companies, they do stuff, they, you know, kind of have a super close connection to this company, and you're like, I do not want this. This is just too much. So the way you phrase your CTAs, you need to make it sound as easy peasy as possible. Sure, you don't need to lie, and I mean, of course, lying is never permissible, or misleading people. But there are also like stages or different variations where you can say the same thing but use different words, and one will sound super, you know, really big commitment, and others something typical and expect something that was expected. Enroll into the course, enroll now, join now, sign up, subscribe, whatever. These are very typical CTAs. They have, you know, expectable level of commitment. But suddenly we are talking about a founder member, and I think this is not a good idea. Just, you know, keep your CTAs. Okay, about the CTAs, there are two different kinds of CTAs. There's call to action and call to value. Call to action means do this thing. For example, download an ebook. Like, you will be, I'm telling you what is about to happen right now. This is call to action. Call to value, then you say become an expert at SEO, for example. This is call to value. It may lead to the same page. It may lead to the same enroll to my course page, but it speaks to higher, to different levels of awareness, maybe different kinds of target audience. So you just need to keep this in mind and to think, okay, what would I, you know, what would be better to use here? A call to action where I think I lay down everything people probably already convinced and they just want, you know, me to show them the shorter way. Or do I want to use this really small space for CTA to just to once again reiterate the benefit? But you need to make sure it's still clear that, you know, you click on the button and it needs to connect to the rest of the copy. You can just like suddenly put a button, become an expert in X, and you know, if your text before does not talk about becoming expert in X. So this is also not a super easy thing to do, you know, just like, okay, button some words and hope they click. You really need to think about it. And here I would recommend to stick to one thing, you know, enroll to the core, enroll now, right? It was in the beginning. And if we scroll up, I think in the banner, enroll now was written in all caps, enroll here, exactly. And here suddenly it's written in sentence case. Again, you need to make sure that, yeah, I just scrolled up, it was enrolled here. We need to, you know, make sure that it's just the same style of text. It just contributes. Oh, this is actually very good post, very detailed. You also don't need to subscribe to anything. It's like free content. Credibility checklist, website credibility checklist. Let me just drop your link real quick, where I talk and give you also links. What makes your page, your website not credible, less credible, or what makes it more credible? Let me just quickly share it with you. I think it's worth looking into, because things like, you know, different usage of different things for the same things, typos and stuff. You also will find links to like in-depth studies. It's not like I just made it up. So yeah, I think this is also useful, just to have a look at that. Shall I proceed? Are you guys still with me? Because
This is great. No, yeah, we're trying not to interrupt the flow there at too much of a point. I think this is really, really awesome information. Clearly, we get to see a lot of the comments. I know you're talking through, but Alona shared such insightful information. I'm wondering what Jill would think about my page. I'm sure anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my website, jillandrews.com, and there is under Hire Me Gibbs, there is a website review page or homepage review, whatever you need. Homepage is more suitable for freelancers or people just starting out, for whom homepage is the most important page. And you can see you can read about my process. You can see the sample scopes of what what this review will contain, and you can also see sample fees. I'm very transparent about that. And there is a form, a contact form where you can contact me. So if you need a page or a website reviewed, this is what I do. Part of my work is also reviewing web pages for money. So you can go to my site and just read, and if it appeals to you, you just drop me a line and I would be happy to help. But okay, let's go back to our page. Didn't we have something before?
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah, we have testimonials, right?
Yes,
We missed testimonials. Okay, this is super great that you're using testimonials. The thing, it's good that they have images. What I have to say here, the way it's visually presented is unfortunately not ideal. It's extremely congested, and suddenly it looks like a wall of text. People will definitely miss 2/3 of the left testimonial and parts of the other testimonials. And you need to decide, either you're using images everywhere or nowhere. This card with the wheels, I'm guessing the page is work in progress, but you definitely need to use an image there, a photo of a person, if you're doing it. Another thing that I think undermines credibility a lot, sorry, a bit, not a lot, is that these testimonials are not about the course. Right now, you were talking about the course, and then you say what others have to say, and then you put testimonials, and your prospects assume that testimonials about the course. They start reading. The testimonials are not about the course. I understand it's the first run of a course, which is like totally normal that you do not have testimonials about this course. If you haven't done this, sometimes people do like test runs in like closed groups of 20 people, and then they collect their testimonials. If you haven't done that, it's not a problem, but you need to be transparent because your prospects will notice. And if you don't disclose it, or like make it clear that it's not about the course, you damage credibility. So what I would do actually, at some point, I would introduce yourself, or like as soon as possible, actually, to talk about how awesome you are, what you achieved, talk about all these supermodels that you styled and the functions you worked on or walks. And then you have testimonials and you say, here's what people have to say about working with me. So your prospects know these are not testimonials about the course. Sure, I mean I think it's a good idea that you mentioned it's like the very first run of this course, so people kind of already would understand, okay, that is why she does not give the testimonials for the course. But they shouldn't first assume something and then don't get the assumption not confirmed. So this is not a good idea. But okay, coming back to the testimonials, I mean, these are good testimonials. I would still, when you get a long testimonials, you need to see if you can shorten it, because it's great if a person tells you like big story and you're excited or they're excited about working with you, but your prospects look at this like wall of text and go like, there's no way in hell I'm going to read this. Thank you. Bye. That's totally fine to edit testimonials. I have another. Oh my God, I'm bombarding you with links. But the thing is, I get to ask the same question so many times that I just get tired of that, and I just put it in an article. And it's like, oh, you have this question, go read that article. And there is an article. Testimonials. I'm just looking it up. How to ask for client testimonials. There are only 2 request templates you'd ever need, and the second template is for when a person sends you a testimonial that's too long and you're like, man, I was already so afraid to ask them about this testimonial, and now it's crap, I can't use it because it's bloody long. What do I do? And not a problem at all. The thing is, clients, especially if they just finished working with you, they're excited, they're super happy to help. There is a way to ask them if you can shorten their testimonial and already show them why you're shortening the testimonial. Be appreciative about their effort, but still telling them, listen, person. I need it shorter because my prospects are lazy and selfish and they're not going to read it. So is it okay if I it's like in a nutshell, you of course phrase it nicely. Is it okay if I phrase it like that? And they will be like, yeah, totally fine. My God, you just took so much work off my hands. That's exactly what I wanted to say. You're awesome. Take it. I never ever, in my whole career, nobody ever refused and said, no, 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 this is not a good. Everybody's totally chill about it. It's only us who are totally uptight. I'm still a bit of uptight, but then I just pull out my templates and I try to switch off my brain and just like fill the template, send it out, and I know, people will be totally fine. So the thing is, again, coming back to this page, make sure your testimonials are as short as possible, but they cover particular points. Right now it's a bit difficult because they're talking about how a person worked with you, but once you have proper testimonials, and I guess people are talking about, or people who are watching this are thinking about their own pages and courses and products where they may have testimonials. So what does a testimonial need to include? What problems a person had before buying your product, and what happened after they start using it and bought it, and what they like the most. If we're talking about the course, I appreciate, I was struggling with things XYZ, but after I went through Nikki's course, this is what changed in my life. I especially liked things ABC. This is the best testimonial you can get, right? 3 sentences, great. If they tell you something like, I recommend you buying this course, remove it. It's clear that they recommend it. They just they didn't praise you for nothing. They're like, oh yeah, it's awesome, but don't buy it. It's not like that, right? So remove any fillers like this. I will recommend it. I will really, she's awesome. And anything that is vague, because she's awesome. Yeah, in what sense? Tell me exactly what she did. Why is she awesome? She's awesome. She's great. Recommend you. It's the worst testimonial you can get, because maybe it's your grandma talking about your lawn mowing abilities. We don't know. We don't know what awesome means, right? So I think we
love
can
that.
move.
That's great advice.
Jill, we got the question that is it okay to, I think you're kind of answering this, like, is it okay to edit the words? Like,
Yeah,
take delete some words, but to actually
but you need to ask for
change the
approval.
words, make it spicier, make it jazz it up a little
Okay,
bit.
it depends. I mean, you shouldn't go really like that they won't recognize it. It has to have the same gist, and it has to have the same tone of voice.
Okay.
So just have a look at that article that I sent about the testimonials. It's just like the second comment in the chat right now. And it has a template. But yeah, it's a good question. Maybe I should add it to the article as well, that, editing is permissible, but not, that it's completely something different. So yeah, it's okay to edit, but
yeah, this course is amazing in lowercase, and you go, this course is amazing in all uppercase. This is not like...
Actually, I would do vice versa. I would take away the uppercase, because this just sets off the BS detector. This is how a Nigerian prince is writing to you to ask for money, with uppercase. And we all saw those spam emails. Nobody, talks like that. Nobody, unless you're angry and like, what the hell did you do all caps? I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's a website. If you want a visual highlight, just make it bold. But on testimonials, I won't do it.
Perfect. All right. Now I think we're at the page. The next section is Nikki herself. This is the bio section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just in case you're wondering who I am. Who I am is not a question, so we don't need a question mark. So it's like, who am I? Then a question mark. But Nikki, you're so great, and you're saying things like, just in case you're wondering. You're asking them for $500. Of course they're wondering who you are. It's not like just in case you're wondering. They're definitely wondering. Every time there's a course where, you teach the course, you are a part of a product. This is a super important thing to realize. You're not somebody who is like, hello, can you please give me your money? I pretend I'm kind of not there, but, I really want your money. No, you have a personality. This is what you're selling. You're selling your knowledge and expertise. You're selling your likability. You are a part of a product. They're definitely wondering who you are, and just started with a bang. Like, learn from a professional with these credentials. This is what it should say. Or like, hi, and then it says, hi, I'm Nikki, and then, very persuasive copy about what you've done. You kind of started being persuasive. I read about, things you've done, but again, it's buried inside of that really, not really, I think 5 paragraphs it was, text, right? You need to highlight it. You need, again, maybe do 3-4 bullet points, highlighting your achievements. If you want something, just slap a badge on it that says, it's for skimmers. Remember, we're writing for skimmers. then slap a badge there. And this is here probably the section where all your images need to go, that show something. It's like, this is me doing this awesome thing, this is me with this famous person doing this awesome thing, this is me accepting an import, so they're like, you are showcasing. Okay, this is very interesting because I haven't seen it, I think, in a while. Usually social proof is like words of other people, but for you, you're in a great position. You don't need other people. You just have someone with a camera following you at work. They make snaps of famous people on famous fashion shows, and you there, and you have your social proof. You don't even rely on anybody. So this is the section about you. Make it fabulous. The thing is, I think what your clients or prospects want, they want to be you, isn't it? So you are that toaster, when you buy a toaster on Amazon and you see the pictures 3D and hear that you are the toaster. And we need to show you, 360 degrees. I would also wish for a better picture that is not a selfie, because again, price tag is quite high on the course. And what I'm getting, the vibe I'm getting from design, it's something like so homemade, which is probably, this is probably not a very nice thing to say, but I mean, this is unfortunately the truth. There is a big disconnect, and this is what hurts me, and this is why I do it, between your skills, Nikki, thing that you offer, I'm guessing the course will be great, and how it is perceived. And this is so sad and hurts me really bad. So that's why I'm telling you all these things that are not pleasant to hear. Better picture, more scannable text, less wordy, concentrate on things that really matter to your prospects. When we talk about ourselves on the pages, we can't just say, stuff we just want you to know about ourselves. No, think about it, how every piece of information adds to your credibility, likability, and professionalism. We'll showcase the traits and the characteristics that people want you to have or expect from you, or that increase the chance of them giving you their money. So this is from that point. Look at that point. How does this sentence help me appeal to them more in the sense of getting their money? Getting their money is super important. Always think about it. How does it contribute of them moving from that point A we were talking to the point B you need them to be at to convert? How does this happen? Think about that. So again, this section just also needs to be higher up, because as we said, you're part of the product. They want to be you. You need to be showcased pretty early on the page. So this is my to be more assertive. You're like, yeah, I'm Nikki, I'm fabulous, and I can make you fabulous too, and I also can help you earn a lot of money with what you do. Right? Own it. Just own it. You shouldn't sit in the corner. It's like, oh my God, in case you were. No, own it, because you are fabulous, and people need to know about this.
Jill, I have a question for an about section. How close is it? I'm just trying to think of like different frameworks to think about this. How different, say, like, compare this to a resume? Like, should I?
Ooh, no resumes.
No,
Oh my God,
like
forget
almost,
it. Forget it.
No, almost thinking like a
No.
resume. Like, is it, you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself to your client, to your customer, to your potential employer. Like, is that how you want to approach an about me section, or more personal?
Neither nor. Again, think about what your prospects need to hear. Do they need to hear the resume from you? Will they be swayed by, year 1999, I did this. Year 2004, I did this. Year 2012, I did this. Do you think it's a good approach? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe there are cases where this will be a good approach. But in this particular case, just just give you an example. They want to understand what do they want from Nikki to be more persuaded to buy her course. First of all, to know that she qualifies to teach them, that she's in a better place, in a place where they want to be, right? So first of all, you say, hi, I'm Nikki, and I'm this right now. Then you say, I just don't know, because we didn't go through this discovery phase. It's just hard to give like super specific advice, but I will try. Nikki, you maybe then can correct me if it's wrong. Then you say, at some point I was at the place like you, these people who are just doing this salon work or whatever, and I also wanted to break into fashion industry. Here's how I did it, here's what I achieved, right? And then I don't know, I would need to talk to Nikki to ask her a bunch of questions, and then I decide based on her audience profile what's important. So definitely no CVs like you would do for job application. Definitely not. I cannot imagine a scenario where it works. Maybe, then you just go and work in the office job or apply for some research job. You won't be doing lead pages, you know, you would be doing something else. So just imagine you're sitting you're giving a presentation to a room, and you have 3 minutes of their attention. How would you pitch yourself in this context, right? Think about that.
Perfect.
So if it makes sense, I mean, if you have any follow-up questions, just ask.
No, that was perfect. No, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, yeah, obviously like listing out your history, but like that's a perfect way to phrase it. Like a pitch to a room full of people. Like, what's the elevator pitch of like who you are, what you're about, what you achieved,
why should they listen to you?
Why it matters. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna keep on scrolling down a little bit. And it looks like we have a little bit more text. I have another testimonial that is here, and then additional text as well.
Okay, so it's like, so are you enticed to be a founder member? It's again a copy that is not assertive. You need to be assertive, and it's not like, you know, you're asking them, do you want this thing? And the thing that you presume they want is to be a founder member. Nobody's lying awake in bed at night thinking, I would like to be a founder member. No, you need to, again, you know, lead with benefit and say, do you want this benefit? Do you want this benefit? And do you want to learn these things just in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or wherever? So you need to, every time you're having something bold and big and subhead on your page, think about it. Is it something that really, really bothers your prospects? Something that is really important to them? Becoming a founder member to your course is not important to them. Just would be my assumption. All right. So I don't think this is a strong header. I'm guessing it's a final, I call this section final CTA, final notch, when you have like end of the page and you think you presented your argument and you're like, okay, now it's time, you know, to see truth time. Are they going to give me their money or not? So this needs to be strong. You need to reiterate. You need to say once again the biggest benefit that you think they will get from your course. Mm-hmm. And then you say, be one of the first nail professionals to go through this bespoke course. Again, you're thinking that being one of the first nail professionals is a benefit. It's not. To them, it's not. The course will never be priced as low as it. Again, this is a benefit. This needs to be mentioned, but I would mention it under the price. We don't know the price. This is relevant once you show them the price. Because by the time they see the price, they forgot about this. So again, give information only when it's necessary. When it should be given, let's put it like this. So yeah, it never would be priced that long, but what's the price? We don't know. Get access to the course below. You don't need to say it. You have a CTA, it's already like given. Okay, if you click on the button, you will get access to it. So, and especially it's such a big letters, get access to the course below. I mean, this is just not necessary. And last but not least, look at this. This is what I was saying about the consistency in design. How big of a space between the lines you have in this, be one of the first nail professionals. And if you scroll up, you even have a different font. You have a different font. You have different distance between the lines of the same paragraphs. This is what, not balanced design, messy design looks like. You don't want this. This affects credibility really bad, right? And please do not center more than 3 lines, I think 3-4 lines, because it's just super hard for the brain to read and you're adding friction where it doesn't have to be. And again, this needs a stronger pitch. It's again, like, imagine it's a summary. It's a super summary. Like, what can you, like, final nudge? What can you, you ringed all your copy and you threw away all the water. What can you tell them? How can you persuade them? At the very end, to remind them everything they too long to read, basically. All right. Mm-hmm. What is this? What is your pitch? And I'm afraid that's not that. I can't believe it that this is what your course boils down to: become a founder member.
So she's got her price listed at the very bottom in the checkout form. Should she list her price any higher, or should that be mentioned alongside the offer?
Good question. That doesn't have a uniform, answer that will work for everybody. This falls under the strategic sequence of sections. I won't mention the price right away because, people sometimes, yourself, you go to shop and you're like, man, I only have $50 to buy a pair of jeans. And then you see really awesome jeans that fit you like a glove or whatever, probably not a glove, like very good pants. And they cost $70. You're like, okay, man, I'm spending $70. So this is the danger of listing the price early, because then you are scaring them away without giving them a chance to reconsider. Because people, they think they know what their budget is, but actually they don't. The moment you give them a very compelling offer with a lot of benefits, you may persuade them to spend more money. When should you show the price? I would say where you think you already have a case, as a use case, a case scenario, where you think, okay, I told you what it is. I told you how it will help you. I told you who I am and why you should listen to me. I gave you the social proof. Now maybe it's time to show the price, I would say. I mean, in this particular case, because then you have like a minimum case of this is the basic, the minimum information they need to know to, for some people from that group to think about converting. If they're not thinking about buying this course, there's no point of showing them the price, right? If you see a really crappy pair of jeans, it doesn't matter how much it costs, even if it's for free, you're not going to take it. You already have these jeans in your wardrobe, right? So the moment you think, people really, some of the prospects think about converting, show the price, show the CTA. When is it for your course? I can't tell you. For some courses, it would be at the very bottom because you would need to, talk about the higher the price, the longer the space between the beginning of the page. So like the lower is the price on the page. And I would also mention it twice. If you have longer page, it's okay to mention it twice. First, you have it where you had your minimum viable conversation, and then you talk about, let's say, some additional information. Maybe you have a FAQ section on your page, which is super common, where you address objections that were not global enough to address in the main copy, for some sub-segments of your audience. And after that, you once again give them the price. So the price, of course, should be the very last thing. That's like, get this benefit, 3-4 bullet points, this is the price, enroll. This should be your very last section, always. And somewhere in between also a price and some kind of call to action section. So I would say at least 2 sections. Where to put it, you unfortunately have to decide yourself. I have a question about the disclosing the form like that. Is it necessary to have the form open already in your software? Because I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah,
it's form open as opposed to what, like closed in a drawer or something?
No, I mean like revealed. So I mean, you don't need to click on enroll now, and then usually what happens on the lead pages, and it's done because you would like to track the clicks on the enroll CTA, and then the bounces. Like people clicked on the button.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Can I click on the button and then they are redirected to another page, because you would like to track, that they clicked. Yes, it opened, but they bounce. And then you see, okay, how many people bounce. And then you may find out maybe you have a problem with the form. Design-wise, you don't have some credibility stamps and whatever. And here, when you lay open like that, it's like a bit too much information in the sense of people who do not want to, who are not still on the fence, they see this information. And it's like, I think my approach, one of my, principles I try to be guided by is like, don't show people the information they don't need to know at this point. And if a person does not click a button and not ready, does not indicate an intention to buy it, they don't need to see the checkout form.
So yeah, that's an interesting one. So we've done a lot of big testing. Yeah, we've done a lot of big testing and everything with a lot of Samcart's top sellers. And this is categorically something that lifts conversions for many, 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 many people. And we've done a lot of different split tests about this one. Is going from 2 pages down to 1 is something that you should test it for you as well. It'd be an awesome kind of split test to see, for yourself personally. But it is a big thing. It's important enough that we've actually built it into most of Samcart's designs.
Oh, that is such a cool insight. Oh my God, that is great. Have somebody, I mean, because I write, do you have any article where you just kind of share this information?
We do have a number of different things on. We should connect after we hang up. I have to go find some of those links to kind of post.
Yeah, because things. I mean, I always look at, this is so hard to find results of A/B testing, and I'm always on a look for, stuff like that, because I build it in my, my own, improvement suggestions or like my own blog posts or whatever. And this is great to hear. So I would like to hear more about it. I mean, what conditions?
Sure.
I mean, how did you test it?
We will connect on that for sure. Awesome. Well, that brings us to the very bottom of the page. Jill, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for this marathon session.
I mean, we are half an hour more. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, no, it's wonderful.
I know Nikki stayed because she had to listen to this, but I don't know if anybody else is there. It's like, no, that's too long.
If you guys had a great time, if you guys have enjoyed Jill, be sure to drop something in the comments. We'd love to see. I know there's a ton of people who have been super engaged and diving in. Jill, thank you so much for sharing your expertise here, for diving in and it's great and refreshing to get the level of honesty and to dive into that kind of stuff. So don't feel like you need to apologize for it. Certainly that is that is our theme all day, every day when we're just, trying to help people get better. So absolutely love seeing that. Make sure you guys, again, drop it down in the comments if you guys enjoyed all this stuff. But Jill, one more time, where can they check out you? Where can they go grab your book?
JillAndrews.com is my website. And there you would see in the navigation, there's already my book as a label. And just explore. There's also a search box. Just type any question you have in the search box, and probably I've written about that because I wrote about a really lot of things: how to design about pages, how to design service pages, and you know what is actually also a good idea. Check out my YouTube channel because there I have page teardowns, and one of the page teardowns, you can like get a link from my just let me quickly do it. The link from my website, I mean, a link to my YouTube channel, but they're also page teardowns. You were asking about pages that were designed well. There, I just even talk about the strategy behind some pages. And one of the pages I did course page, right? Exactly. So it could have been built with your software. It's one of the clients. I wrote it, and they're happy with that. So I stand behind that page. And I also give you, I think I give you an outline for a course page. So Nikki, if you're still there, there is also a sample outline for a typical like foolproof course outline. See if it also works for you.
Awesome.
Let me just quickly maybe give you very quickly my channel link. I already copied. I think this should work.
Love it. Yeah, Jordan dropped that in the chat.
No, sorry. Sure. Oh, yeah, right. I think this is it. Should be that.
Should be the one. Yeah, you guys can go check out Jill over on YouTube. We'll drop that link down in the comments below. Jill, obviously, I'm sure you saw those cycling through. A ton of awesome comments from everybody who enjoyed this tremendously. You guys make sure you go check out JillAndrews.com. You guys can check out her awesome book as well, which I know a number of people bought live on this call. And Jill, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining One Page Wednesday, sharing your expertise. Yes. It was absolutely awesome. We enjoyed it so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you next week on One Page Wednesday. And thank you so much for all of your expertise, Jill. We really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.
Go get some sleep.